Iranian-American author Marjan Kamali happened to come across Instagram posts by someone she had gone to school with as a little girl. Two little girls who started out from a similar place but ended up walking on two completely different paths. There was Kamali writing books in America while her friend worked for a human rights organization in Iran. Something sparked within Kamali after reading those posts, and that is how the beautiful novel The Lion Women of Tehran was written. A book about two girls, Eleha and Homa, whose friendship endures love, loss, and revolution through decades of change and turmoil in Iran. It's a story that celebrates the courage of women who dare to find their voices amidst silence. Let's switch on the reading lamp. Hello, I'm Asavri, and on this channel, The Reading Lamp, I review books and talk about reading in general. Let's dive into today's book, but no spoilers, no worry. Just
the cover story.
Eleha, or Ellie as she is fondly known, lives a comfortable, pampered life in a wealthy neighborhood in 1950s Tehran. Her father is a successful businessman. Her mother claims to have descended from royalty. Their fortunes take a drastic downturn when Ellie's father dies all of a sudden. Ellie and her mother are forced to shift to a tiny house in the downtown area of Tehran. Ellie bears the brunt of her mother's endless grievances. Just 7 years old and lonely, Ellie dreams of having a close friend to play and share everything with. Luckily, on the first day of school, she meets Homa, a kind, passionate girl with a brave and irrepressible spirit. Together they play games, learn to cook in Homa's cozy kitchen under her mother's kind and watchful eye, wander through the colorful stalls of the Grand Bazaar, and dream about their future. In modern Iran, with a democratically elected prime minister, they plan to be Shirzan, or literally in Persian, lion women, powerful women who do not back down. But their happiness is disrupted when Ellie and her mother get an opportunity to return to their previous bourgeois life. Tearfully, Ellie says goodbye to her best friend and transfers to a different school in her new upscale neighborhood, promising to stay in touch. Years later, Ellie is a popular girl at one of the best girls' high schools in Tehran. Her memories of Homa have begun to fade when suddenly she reappears in Ellie's privileged world. Once again, the two friends come together, come of age, and begin to pursue their own goals for meaningful futures. But the political climate in Iran is changing. The turmoil builds to a breaking point, and one day, an earth-shattering betrayal alters the course of both their lives. Now let me give you my 3 reasons to read the book.
Speaking my mind.
Reason number 1. The perfect blend of fact and fiction. Marjan Kamali weaves historical events and her own memories and experiences of Tehran into the story. The setting and the plot immerse you fully into Iran of the 1950s to 80s and even take you into present-day Iran and America. When and why would I have otherwise thought of reading about the coup that overthrew Iran's prime minister in 1953, or the revolution of 1979, or so many other events that had an impact or changed the course of Iran's history? Because none of them have had a direct impact on me, sitting here in my house, thousands of miles away and decades later. But reading about them in a story makes me want to know more. As usual, I ended up researching many of the things that I read about. And it helps to broaden my worldview when a book does that. That's one of the reasons I love reading fiction. Well-written, well-researched fiction, of course. It seamlessly introduces you to the history, the culture, the politics, the social atmosphere of a time and a region different from yours. Through her novel, Marjan Kamali has done a great job of bringing Iran of different times alive on its pages. Reason number 2, writing style. Marjan Kamali's writing is atmospheric, sensory, and evocative. There is so much detail and emotion in the descriptions of even everyday routine things that it gives you pause. I reread some of the passages just to visualize the scene and savor the feelings it evoked. For example, when Ellie visits Homa's house for the first time and Homa takes her down to the kitchen for a snack, this is how Kamali describes the scene. Homa led me to the back of the main room and down a stone staircase. Beneath my socked feet, the steps were smooth and cool, and I could feel where they dipped in the middle as though years of walking had softened each center. After descending 7 steps, I counted, we entered a cool cave-like kitchen. It should have been damp down there, but the air was warm and dry and infused with the delicious baking smell I had detected when we first walked into the house. Copper pots hung on the wall above the huge stove. On the burner was a samovar, on top of which sat a white teapot etched with 2 pink roses. Various dishes were stacked on shelves. Every surface was clean and shining. As I read and reread that description, I could almost believe that I was there myself. In another example, Ellie and Homa bunk school and go eat an ice cream in the Grand Bazaar. The description of the bazaar is obviously rich and colorful, but listen to the description of the ice cream. The flavor of vanilla infused with rose water and saffron burst into my mouth. The chewiness of the wafer contrasted with the smoothness of the ice cream. To my delight, there were also chunks of frozen heavy cream tucked in. The richness, a surprise. Doesn't that make you drool? I thoroughly enjoyed reading the descriptions in the book. There is a lot happening throughout the book, but the writing style is such that the overall feeling you get is not one of urgency, but it's much more languid and flowy. Reason number 3, emotional impact. The writing style may be flowy and gentle, but it does not make for light reading. The emotional stakes in the story are high. Friendship, betrayal, loss, exile. You get to see how individual lives are affected, even wrecked at times, because of larger historical events. Even though we may be disconnected from the events that occurred years and miles away, they evoke universal feelings that all of us can relate to. Marjan Kamali captures the complexity of relationships beautifully. Think about your own relationships with your parents, your close friends, and you realize that while love may be a constant, your feelings and opinions about those people are not constant. They keep evolving over your lifetime as you keep evolving with your life experiences. You also see that natural evolution in relationships between the characters Marjan Kamali has created. The friendship between Ellie and Homa, Ellie's relationship with her mother, with her husband Mehrdad, all are drawn in a way that feels very real and honest. The 2 main characters are well drawn and you get pulled into the drama of their lives. I see a little bit of bias towards one of the characters, making her a bit more idealized than the other. But it is fiction after all, and an author should have the freedom to play favorites, no? Some secondary or peripheral characters could have done with more fleshing out. There are times when you feel like loose ends have been tied too quickly, and that emotional payoff is not there in the resolution. Especially towards the end of the book, it feels a little rushed. The book is 336 pages long, and it is one of those books that might have been even more enjoyable had it been longer. But that's a good sign for a book that readers are left wanting more rather than less. Now let's put the book to the test to see how it scores on our LINEDSCAPE book rating system.
LINEDSCAPE Rating.
Today, all the different parameters are rated 8, 9 or 10. The overall score is 89 over 100, which makes it a 4.5 star book. This time, the 10 for aesthetics is because of the outstanding narration of the audiobook by Nikki Masood and Marjan Kamali. I listened to the audiobook and I also read the book on Kindle. If you want to know more about my LINEDSCAPE book rating system, follow the link up there right now. Now it's time to put my thoughts.
In a nutshell.
The Lion Women of Tehran by Marjan Kamali is a sweeping emotional story of friendship, courage and change set against the backdrop of tumultuous Iranian history. The friendship between Ellie and Homa is heartfelt and real, showing how loyalty, sacrifice and loss intertwine across decades. The greatest strength of the book is its evocative writing. Kamali captures both the beauty of everyday life in Tehran and the quiet heroism of women enduring political and personal upheaval. Published by Simon & Schuster, the book is 336 pages long. It's available in paperback, hardcover, Kindle and audiobook formats. The link to buy the book is in the first pinned comment and in the description. If you like emotionally layered stories that linger in your mind after you finish them, stories that mix heart and history and character, then this 4.5 star book is a great choice for your next read. If you liked this episode, please give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell icon and share with your friends and family. This is Savri signing off for now. Until the next time, have fun under the reading lamp. Switch on, read on.